Welcome back. It is 20 till 7 here on your Friday morning. It's summertime. It's hot. Kids want to swim to cool off. If you have a pool in your backyard, that means you need to take some steps to make sure everyone stays safe around it. We're learning more about that this morning. For Legally Speaking, attorney Frank Cassese is in for Dave today. Frank, good to see you as always.
Good to see you. Yeah, thanks.
And he brought donuts, so if Dave gives him any, gruff about this later on.
Of course he would. Yeah, right. I don't wake up in the morning.
I know.
Truth is, he goes to bed at 7, and he wakes up at like 3, and then he stays up. Then when he leaves the show, he goes to bed.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so there's something, I didn't even know this term. There's something called the attractive nuisance doctrine. All right, so tell us about what that covers.
Okay, so an attractive nuisance would be something like a swimming pool, right? Mm-hmm. Why is it an attractive nuisance? Because young kids would be attracted to it, and it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. You have to have a fence around your swimming pool. Mm-hmm. They talk a lot about safety for pools, and obviously the number one thing is a fence with a gate. Mm-hmm. I think the fence at least has to be 4 feet high. And a lot of people that put in maybe in-ground pools will have decorative fences around their pool with landscaping. Maybe above-ground pools, there's just a fence generally around the yard. Mm-hmm. But it has to have a gate on it. It has to not necessarily lock, but some mechanism that'll shut the gate. Okay. They always tell you be very careful about, you have to be compliant with pool drains. Mm-hmm. They have to have the proper covers on them, because if they don't, have been many instances where kids, like hair, bathing suits, get sucked down. And there's actually even been incidents with adults, so it's kind of scary.
Absolutely. So is there like a list of things somewhere that people can go in case they're thinking about getting a pool?
Yeah, so I know that we have a link on our Facebook page that you can click that kind of goes over a chart of things that you should have. There's just more or less, not necessarily rules, but almost like a to-do list, a checklist. One of the big things is they call it like a pool sitter or a pool watcher. So. A lot of times you hear stories about people, well, there were 10 adults by the pool, but somebody drowned. Mm-hmm. The reason why is there's not somebody designated to watch that kid or those kids. And when there's 5 adults and they said, well, we were all there, but nobody's watching. Mm-hmm. The other thing that's happened nowadays, and we've talked about it a lot in the morning, cell phones. You've got maybe a teenager watching kids, or an adult, a mom, a dad, and they're paying attention to their phone and they're not paying attention to the kids, and it happens in a split second. It happens in a split second. I think it's the leading cause of death for kids 1 through 4.
Yeah, I mean, and making sure that it's not unattended, too. I mean, sometimes people go inside in a party and a kid just wanders out and they don't even realize it.
Right. So pool covers they've done a really nice job. There's automatic pool covers now. There are pool covers that you can walk on that get like bungeed across. It's much different even from probably when we grew up, right? But that's a really big thing, too, the covers and making sure it's secured. People that have pools in their backyard, especially where they have young kids, like you said, they go in and maybe I'm going to run to the restroom real quick and I'll be all right, he's over here. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So you got to be very vigilant.
And so how much, like, let's say an accident does happen, God forbid. I mean, how much liability in terms of that falls on, the homeowner, the pool owner then, if they were shown to have just not been paying attention or not have the proper safety up?
I would say about all of it.
Yeah.
You have homeowners insurance, and that would likely be applicable in those scenarios, but something that catastrophic, there's not enough money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
There's not enough money. I mean, right. And there's scary things, but they do happen.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else, I know we've been talking about pools, is there anything else that qualifies as an attractive nuisance that maybe we wouldn't realize?
A pond. Okay. A pond in your backyard, maybe a built waterfall, aesthetically you put it in the backyard and it's really nice, but it's an attractive nuisance. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have a fence around that, and a young kid ends up in there, the neighbors have a 2-year-old, and he wandered over, and that happens to everybody, right? I mean, how many times have you said, where's my kid, when they're growing up that young, and thank God they're not far.
They're exploring.
Right,
somewhere.
But, that's an attractive nuisance.
All right.
There's other things I can think of.
I mean, those are good examples, though. I mean, anything that you think a little kid would be like, oh, I want to see how that works.
Yeah, sure.
That could be an attractive nuisance.
Absolutely.
All right. Good to see you, as always. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Don't let Dave give you any garbage about not bringing in donuts, by the way.
Yeah.
He's good. I promise.
Thank you.